Good morning, folks. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. Sorry about the late start here. It's Mitch's birthday, so we're all kind of slacking behind the scenes since Mitch decided to take his birthday off and go do something else. Anyway, hope Mitch is having a good one. We're back. We're going to get started. I do have some special guests here for today, so that's good. Let me go see if I can find them. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can find them. Let's go ahead and roll the intro first.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, we're here and we're getting started. Let me bring on some special guests. Be sure to smash up the like. You know him. Of course, first we got Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades. Andy, I literally waited until you looked off screen and then added your camera when you were looking off screen. That was literally by design. Well done. How you doing this morning?
Morning, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. I've been sick, so I'm getting over that, and it feels good to get better, you know?
Well, you sound really good, so sorry to hear that you were sick, but looking and sounding good, my man. Let's go ahead and welcome in our second guest here. So we don't just celebrate Mitch's birthday with just one guest. We bring in multiple guests. 13 making his return to the show. What's going on, 13? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you this morning, Ryan?
I've been better, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. I don't know. My computer got bitten by the internet monster, so nothing is working on my side except for my camera, miraculously. But Joe, I'm going to go ahead and throw up your Benzinga Pro here. I'm not going to have the screens that I normally share here today, but thankfully 13 here, very, very experienced in finding stuff. So we're going to make it work. Great to see a whole bunch of people out there. 13, do you have anything on the docket yet that you're looking at prior to the open? Andy, I'm going to come to you next.
Yeah, so I just started looking at some of the things that were moving a lot in pre-market. We could start off with, here, I'll bring it up in the chart as I say it. We have BMRA. This is a Buy America Incorporated. What they're running on right now is they just received FDA approval this morning for their HB Detect Elysia product. Second one I have up is that's moving is ICCT. This one's been something that we've traded before. We've also had this featured on this very show. What's going on with this one? I haven't seen any news, but I did notice that we kind of got down to where the bottom was trading back in August, and we kind of just blasted off from there. So that it just might be this move only. That's the only thing I could find with that.
Yeah, that looks like momentum to me, 13. I didn't see any news for that either. I saw that pop this morning. I didn't see anything in the news feed. I was also looking through Twitter, didn't really find much there. So I think you're on. I think that's just kind of a momentum move there.
So that's one that we're watching too. We've also got news from X. This one absolutely blasted off on news that they received a buyout offer from Japan's Nippon Steel for $55 a share. So that's why that one's trading up so violently. And then we also have PRSR. This is a SPAC. They have units that are, but their ticker is PRSRU, is also taking off. I don't have a whole lot of information on this other than that they're bringing letter tech to market, which is kind of a thing behind the thing for autonomous driving and EVs. And then finally, the last thing I was looking at was ARQI. This is, I don't think I typed that incorrectly, I'm sorry, ARQT. There we go, Arcturus.
I feel like we've traded this one before off the relative volume scanner, ARCT.
We may have, I don't know for a fact, but this one just received, this was on Friday actually, received FDA approval for their Zorzi, I can't pronounce it, but it's a topical foam for their seborrheic dermatitis.
Hey, man, don't feel bad about that. I tried pronouncing all of these drug names and disease names, and it is a nightmare. So you did pretty good there. Andy, anything that you're taking a look at here this morning, getting set up for today's trade?
Okay, Ryan. So basically, I start my day the same exact way. 8. Okay, say this.
13 is fine.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm messing up. But anyways, guys, I start my day with the top percentage gainers over here. So BMRA and ICCT and stuff like that is on there. And again, I didn't see any news, so nothing really in Pennyland for that. And pennies, they haven't really. It hasn't really been ripper season from what I've been seeing lately. But other than that, I'm just looking at the ES, MES. Looking what's happened with the market today and seeing if we can get some sort of. I mean, we've been just beasting out and nonstop to the highs like a freight train, and we're coming up to some resistance here, so we'll see what can happen.
Let's talk about that. 13, I know you and I talk about this with the happy hour crew all the time, but I don't think we spend enough time about where we think the market is going in the days, maybe weeks ahead, as much on live trading. So with both of you guys here, both of you guys watch the broader market, you watch the broader averages. What do you think is going to happen here? How are you positioning yourself for like the rest of the year? And are you already at all looking ahead to the beginning of next year in terms of like sector rotation or anything?
Andy, feel free to go ahead and start that if you want.
Guys, I basically trade whatever I'm seeing on the chart and trade price no matter what. I look at and I pay attention to whatever the economic calendar is just to know if there's going to be a big catalyst to watch out for, to see if my day is going to get a little rougher than what I intended. Because there have been so many days when I get into a trade and it's just like, boom, I get hit really hard. And I'm like, what's going on? I find out that I didn't know this news. So when it comes to sector rotation and all that, maybe I should do a little better. But honestly, I'm just here looking at price and trying to make sure that I'm not going to get slaughtered. And that's what I'm looking into the future for. And, right now, just price being where we're at and being a freight train up to the highs like this market is insane. And, I'm just that's what's on my mind about it.
Yeah, Ryan, we've talked. I brought this up several times in happy hour about where I thought the market was going. I think maybe back in the middle of the year, I started providing some charts and long-term forecasts on where we're going. I mentioned that 480 double topping on the SPY is what I was, one of the scenarios I was looking at. We're getting very close to 480. So my hope would be that we double top, because if we go through that, then I think the return to the mean is going to be much, much harsher. I don't want to see this market take off too violently, because it's going to come back down the same way.
Yeah, and I would say, hasn't it already? It already kind of feels like it's taken off violently and we're a little bit extended. I'm with you on that. And I'm also with Andy on trading the price action, right? Just show me the price action. We'll make decisions on a day-to-day basis. I'm with you there. Just trying to think if there's anything that we can position ourselves for ahead of time. Okay, so we got about 7 minutes till we open up here. I would say I'm just kind of looking around here, still kind of catching up a little bit. I actually have the wrong scan loaded in here. Here we go. So BMRA, you have a trade plan here. I see that ICCT is kind of curling up. BRMA really kind of stopping against that 160. BMRA looks like a potential through 160 there. What kind of levels are you looking at ICCT and BMRA?
I'll start looking for some levels. I usually start with looking to the left. This looks like some consolidation that's getting ready to move up, but I want to look to the left and see what those levels would be if we move out of that. While I'm looking at that, Andy, if take it away, man.
If you don't mind, Ryan, I wanted to tell you real quick what I was thinking in the SPY, and I know it's probably just due to the fact that price has moved so incredibly strong lately. You expect a pullback. I think a lot of traders they talk themselves out of trades. I know I do, because it's moved so far, right? And so anyways, I'm just looking back to about 2017 to 2020 in the SPY, a little bit of megaphone action to see if maybe the future, that's something more like what the future holds for us, and not just beasting out and becoming this next amazing bull market. We might get a little frustration before we get to where everybody is expecting that we are right now.
Okay. I'm going to see if I'm going to give this a shot here and see if I can load that chart. If this doesn't work, 13, I'm going to flip back to you here. You were looking how far back on the SPY?
2017 to about 2020.
Okay. So I have a weekly here. We're kind of looking at weekly candles here. Can you just go through what you were looking at for me again here? I apologize.
All right. If you go back to 2017, there's that dip, and then you got that final one, that 2020 dip, that nice one right
the
there.
COVID one. Yep.
And we we had a struggle. It seemed like I think about 300 in the SPY was almost unbreakable, and as soon as we went over to that mark, it would just pull back, and it was a little bit of a frustrating time, a little bit for this thing just didn't seem to. I don't think the confidence was there that it was gonna move for just cause. But anyways, I'm just looking into the future, thinking maybe we might end up in a little bit more of that price discovery situation like we had back then, where it's like more of a little megaphone before we break out and get really intense again.
All right, I'll tell you what, I would be really shocked if we break out. I mean, I've been shocked already, so I guess that really shouldn't do anything. That really shouldn't surprise anybody, but sure looks like we need a pullback here. Just all look on a weekly chart here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks straight of a green move here, right into the holidays. Let's see what happens when we hit at 480. Your guess is as good as mine, folks. That's not making a whole lot of sense here. We'll see where we end up going. See, the market's up here today.
BMRA, I mean, it looks like we're a potential bull flag right here, some consolidation, and I'm sure a lot of traders are looking for us to break to a new high. And I can't tell you guys how many times I've woke up in the morning, I've saw something like this, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to grab it here in this consolidation. And this is way before I established any discipline. So if it did pull back and break below the support of the consolidation there on the bull flag, I'm still holding it, thinking, okay, it could still do this, talking myself into the next level of the trade, But anyways, guys, I have messed with these things and got crushed time and time again. And but right now we are holding, basically riding the 9, as the bullish bears say. So and we're just below the VWAP, right around the VWAP here on BMRA as well.
Yeah, BMRA, this to me looks like a move through 157, sets up a move through 160, and it probably goes there. We'll see what we got. 13.
You don't mind me saying so, though, Ryan? I mean, I got to let you guys know that I've had such bad brain fog from this sickness that for the last couple of days, I would have a text, or I'd be trying to tweet or something, or whatever X does, post, and I'm just staring there, and I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to say, and just nothing is coming out of my head, and nothing is working out. So I do believe I'm doing better today than I have, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, just I want everybody to be aware of that.
All right. We will be aware. All right. Let's see where BMRA can go here today. Let's see ICCT creeping up here at 13. You got any battle plan ready for this?
Well, so what I've done here with BMRA is I went and looked and see where I felt the demand and supply zones were from when the price was back up here previously. And so that's what these big old boxes are that you see now. So since I've come back to a 5-minute chart for today, now I can see that since I drew those, I was like, okay, that makes sense why we're getting the movement we're getting. As soon as we get down here into the buy zone, it gets bought back up. We hit the supply zone, it gets rejected. So we're getting this consolidation, as Andy was mentioning. And I think that, once we get back up here, we're getting some support for this, even though I don't use this SMA in trading. I have a off-screen set of EMAs and VWAP that I'm using. But I do agree, as soon as we get above that VWAP, which we're clearly getting rejected at right about here, it looks like we could get a good increase in volume as we try to break through these supply zones.
We are at a minute until they open. You guys have any birthday wishes for Mitch, just in case he's tuning in here?
Dude, happy birthday, Mitch.
Yeah,
let's go.
Happy birthday. Hope you're looking forward to those twins. It's going to be awesome. Fatherhood's a great gift.
There you go. Good stuff for Mitch. Mitch, happy birthday if you're out there. 13, absolutely love the dad cup. Okay, MRA doing a decent job holding that 150 area, although it looks like it's kind of coming in a little bit here. We'll see where we end up going. Got about 30 seconds till this market opens. I don't really see anything else moving across here that's of note.
I'm going to want to see BMRA start to get bought back up here as we approach that demand zone. So if we start to get back in there and we fall through it, then I'd be a little concerned, but that also could be a pretty good buy signal too.
All right. We'll see where it goes. See if I can see if I can watch the scanner here. I'll flip back and forth if necessary. 13, if you have something, if you have like a level identified, I'll flip over to your screen real quickly. All right, we are open. Let's see where we go. Let's see what we got on the first print here. ICCT trading up.
Basically, just for fun, I went and bought some BRMA right here.
Uh-oh.
figured, when I'm sick, I usually lose the most. So I need to stick with that and, do it when I'm live. Basically be consistent, right?
I mean, I don't want to see you lose. That's for sure.
I'm confident about it. I think we'll do good.
All right. ICCT, big move right there through 275 on ICCT. Looks like that went first here. BMRA starting. ICCT, holy smokes, that printed threes. Huge move on ICCT. SS Trades waiting for a dip there. That's kind of what I was waiting for too. Let's see if we end up getting that now that we are pushing up here. Maybe we'll get a pull and a chance to load. Pull back to the VWAP. I've got VWAP at 261 on both broker and trading view. So let's see if we get that pullback. Here's your yank early on ICCT. BMRA, by the way, I've got it on another screen here. I can actually see it breaking down. Got to hold that 140 level.
There's a good size order at 137, 138 that I'm looking to see.
Okay, and that's possible support there. Okay. SS Trades, an early swipe there. Good job getting filled near the top.
And it wouldn't surprise me if any of these end up in a halt today.
Yeah, especially ICCT here. 314 now, 320, your high print. Nice up move there on ICCT right out of the gate. Let's see if BMRA ends up putting in some type of support here. Looking like it's trying to retake that 150. I got 156 VWAP on that.
ARQT looks like it's trying to break through VWAP. It's got a big amount of resistance at about 322 though.
ICCT stopping at that 320. Here is ARQT.
Yeah. Okay, now BMRA is starting to come back up.
Yes, it is.
And in with trading a little ridiculous today, you guys, I'm thinking about buying some of this ICCT on the pullback as well.
I mean, if it gets to a level where it holds, I wouldn't be opposed either. BMRA might be going here.
There it goes.
Hang on BMRA.
All right. 20 cents there.
I was going to say that was a little scalp there. Let's see on ICCT. We really need that to come back in on ICCT.
Got more BMRA.
BMRA back to the VWAP here. Potential load spot. So I'm looking at your chart here, 13. Is it basically the purple areas are areas of action and the black areas just kind of wait and see?
The areas that I have that are all purple, those were where we had consolidation previously from the last time the price was up here, which was a long time ago. So I just marked those areas and dragged them out to today to see if those could be viable supply and demand zones.
Gotcha.
They're working pretty well.
I was going to say, they look like they're holding up pretty good here this morning. Stopping here at 169. We'll see if we pop through that. If we consolidate here, we might go higher on BMRA. I'm getting the tickers mixed up already.
That's okay,
because you guys know that I like to take partial profit on these things, but with BMRA, I might regret this, but I just went ahead and took it out. I just got.
Oh no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. Especially if we come back in, that's going to be perfect. SS Trades mentioning that shot is ripping. I'll take a look at that here. Let me know if you see anything else on BRMA. I'm going to try and flip back and forth as best I can here. Cover as many tickers as possible. Smash up the like for my man Andy and 13 helping us out here. Shot, wow, shot really moving here. Big pop on shot. What's the volume on this? 100. Okay, so we're not quite over 1 million shares there yet on shot.
Okay, so BMRA is trying to eat through this 175 supply level, and if it does, then it's probably going to pop up to over 180.
Carmen, great job with shot here this morning. Let's go. Got a couple of winners right out of the gate. I'll take that any day of the week. This is how you start off on Monday, folks.
And this is how you trade when you're sick, folks. I went ahead and I took profit also on ICCT there. So nice move, over 10 cents, I believe, on each of them. Well over 15 on one. I don't know.
We got a drop on BMRA. I took another position in it.
Let's go.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, right at VWAP. I got VWAP at 158 on BMRA.
And I'm just easing out as it goes back up. Because volume is lightning.
So 13. So one of the things that I say on here quite often is that it's probably better off buying the pulls. That's very much like what you just did, right? BMRA pulled back, went to that VWAP, you bought it, and you're just saying that you're scaling out of that as it creeps back up, right? That's the entire thing that I'm trying to do. So awesome, awesome doing that.
It's just, I appreciate that. It's just that I'm watching volume too. And if it's not going to pop back up and get to the levels that I want quick enough, then it's like, okay, well, the volume's starting to leave this thing. I'm going to ease out. I'm going to raise stops. I'm going to do all that stuff. Because, you know, it's the trade's fading. So I'm just, and now we're getting support from the 160 area. If you look at the 5-minute chart that I have on mine, you can see how it's
let's bring it up here.
So, you know, that would, if you're still trading this, that'd be a good spot to maybe consider getting back in, because it's starting to move up again, and it might just blast off through this supply.
ICCT also flagging here. I've got that on my other chart that we can flip to that when needed here. Andy, let me know if you need anything brought up on screen for you.
No problem, Ryan. Thanks.
Man, I'm jealous of y'all over at ICCT. This thing was awesome.
Yeah, played BMRA there, but okay with that. Kevin, yes, my hedge is still on. If my hedge continues to break down here today, I'll probably take that off. Reason I left this hedge on is because I was up so massively during that run up with the long side stocks that I held. I just hung on to SQQQ for any type of downside. Yes, still have it. Would start lightening that up here if we move below 14. Despite that though, and despite holding on to this hedge through this move, still having another good morning here today. Long side holds still going up, and obviously we just hit BMRA. That one doesn't really count.
Looks like ARQT did pop and then came back in. Missed that one. Yeah, I don't have
here comes BMRA that broke down through the VWAP now on BMRA. ICCT, by the way. So ICCT still holding up here, getting this nice kind of consolidation pattern. This is on the 1 minute. This actually looks like this wants to go higher here. 13 would love to get your thoughts on that. BMRA right back to the VWAP here. We'll see where that ends up going.
I'm gonna take a look and see if I can do some levels like I did with BMRA real quick here. Okay.
This BMRA might be slowing down here. Let's see if it reclaims VWAP here. ICCT pulling.
And I'm looking for if we can get this far down, I'm looking for a rising level of 288 to hold the support. And if we bust below 288, then we'd be in limbo on ICCT.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a big supply zone that we're in with ICCT. So if we can get through this,
here, I'm going to your chart 13.
So I haven't looked for I haven't mapped the demand zone. So if this comes back in, I don't have good levels for where to reload. But this is what we're trying to get through right now. So, smoked tuna is bringing up cooler.
Wow, that's one of your favorites, 13. Well,
I like
if he's bringing it up, we might as well take a look at it.
Well, what do we got here? I mean, I was moving early this morning. I know they got a contract to develop a space. I'll just call it a space battery. But they already have contracts with Lockheed Martin for doing different kinds of work and a bunch of other really big name companies. But I like their story. I just, they just need to work on their PR and their cash.
ICCT looks like an attempted breakdown there. Buyers not letting that happen.
I really need to get that demand zone figured out. Let me look at that.
It looks like it was trying.
Still looks relatively strong.
Yeah, I was going to say it was trying to break the downside there on 3. Buyers were saying, nope, I agree with you, and he still looks strong here.
BMRA, though, I mean, you guys, I've lost confidence over here. It's not saying that it's not going to break to a new high or anything. Penny stocks do some crazy things, but, just for that one, I couldn't buy that pullback. Reclaimed
that VWAP, trying to go higher here. Smoke Tuna calling ARQT. Tesla also moving off the rip here.
All right. Well, I got a demand zone there. It's pretty sizable. So anywhere between 180 and about 260, there's going to be you could find buyers for ICCT.
Oh, that's a big pullback. 180. That's where we were at on Friday. We haven't seen that since
Well,
okay.
that's it might not even get there. You can look and see that
Yeah.
it's been holding the level since pre-market and Friday of about 215-ish.
And you guys said there's no known news for any of these yet?
I didn't see here. Let me check. I didn't see any for
ICCT.
For ICCT. For BMRA, I believe we did.
Yes. BMRA, that was FDA approval. They had a 501k filing this morning, and that's for their ELISA product. It's a it's not the dermatitis one. It's for something, but it's got FDA approval. So basically, they're legally allowed to sell it, and the FDA says it works. So
ICCT holding that 3 level again. Came in. There's a sizable bid there at 302 that was actually getting hit. BMRA now reversing here and going right back to that VWAP. Still indecision here on BMRA.
I'll go back to that chart real quick. Take a look at what we're at. Okay. So we're still holding those levels here. I think once we start getting a breakdown below this, maybe even down to here, then you could start panicking if you're in it. But
ICCT trying to go higher here, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not in it.
I don't know about getting back into BMRA.
Here back down to 3 on this might flush. You got to be careful here on ICCT, folks.
Mm-hmm. Watch that order book.
If you guys notice, a lot of times these things will pop, they'll break out, fake out, break out, and instantly that's when they get really aggressive to the downside. Can't tell you how many times I've looked at this. I'm like, okay, this is a setup right now. And the moment I touch it, like literally within a second, that's when it just gets kind of...
that's normally what I fight too. ICCT trying to go for the highs again here in ICCT. We'll see if we snap it. 320. I think if it breaks 320, it probably goes in a hurry, doesn't it?
It's starting to bullpen it.
Yeah, this is looking like it's holding really strong for the moment. If we break south of this rising level 295, that's when it would get a little questionable for me. But as long as we stay strong above this VWAP like this, I mean, this thing, it looks like every other beautiful stock I've ever seen, you know? Nice ripper.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you know how I've been telling you that I've been playing Spirit Airlines for the merger?
Oh, yeah.
So they have a formation that looks pretty good. So I think that's why it's running right now. But it's up 11%. No, I'm sorry. I'm up 11% in it right now. It's up to 1570.
Yeah, that's been a really good trade, that save trade. You want to flip to that?
Yeah, Harold.
Or you want to wait till ICCT resolves here? It looks like this is trying to go higher.
Maybe we should do that. This is more important. But yeah, it looks like save might have a future trades in it if the pattern resolves. Seeing good size at 320 on this. So I think if we chew through that, then we could get maybe up to 350.
Another decent morning here. Ideal power.
We got a potential area of rejection in the SPY right now.
Yeah, the SPY hasn't continued. I mean, it was looking strong in the pre-market here, but it's kind of slowed down as soon as the market opened. EMRA really kind of pinning to its VWAP, which is surprising. EMRA don't like the price action here. Got it. SS Trades.
What's nice is that it looks like ARQT is also kind of just hanging out up here. I think maybe that one and ICCT could be some pretty good movers in the next half hour.
ICCT, this looks like this might come back. It's holding here. Just careful for this pullback.
Uh-oh.
One of the things I'm waiting for here is a pull. Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
I decided to grab a much smaller amount in another account here for BRMA where we're sitting.
Here's your big pull on ICCT. Let's see if this is a tradable bottom here.
Yeah, it's coming up to those pre-market highs and yesterday's highs. I'm sorry, Friday's highs.
And grab some of the ICCT here as well.
See if it bounces here.
ICCT, I'm looking for a rejection at 296 if we can get back up there, and that's about where I'd take profit, declining level.
Like a return to VWAP kind of trade?
For me, it's a 65 EMA, but yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
My favorite momentum indicator for my intraday trades is 65 EMA on the 15-second. I'm not trading, I'm not focusing and zooming in on the 15-second for my trades, but as far as momentum and knowing what side of the trade we're on for the day, it does pretty good for me.
I too use the 65 as one of 4. It's very strong across all time frames.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't the 65 a new one for you, Joe? I feel like that was kind of a recent add to the toolbox.
The EMAs 9, 15, 65, and 200. I been learning how to use this. That was from when I was learning from David Green.
Yeah, gotcha.
And the nuances of how to use those wasn't really touched on very well, so I had to kind of learn how to use those on my own. And 65 and 200 are pretty good long large EMAs. They usually see some price reversals.
Okay, it doesn't look like this pull in ICCT was buyable here. It looks like it might be going lower.
It's coming down to the demand zone. So if we do get down there, if we should see the buying pick up, and if not, then I could be more confident.
What do you have that demand zone at? I was looking for a pull bounce here at VWAP, but it's not. Doesn't look like it's holding it. What do you have? What is that? The top end of that? I can't.
Yeah,
see
it's about 260 to, if we're going to consider the pre-markets, to about 215. So 260 to 215. It's
okay. So low twos then. Low twos on that. And by the way, here, I'll flip to my screen real quick. Here's ARQT. Really kind of stopped there at 330. Andy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run you over there.
Oh, no problem. But ICCT, what we did was we dropped off we dropped off the 65, and we came right to the 200 EMA on the 15-second there. And then just like always, just like clockwork on all these penny stocks, I call it the red, white, and blue, 65, the 200, and 365. We went right to the 365, found some support. And usually at that point, if it's a nice moving penny stock, we'll go back up and retest that declining 65. And at times, man, we'll blast right through and we have that reclaim. And that's when it becomes really powerful. But for now, as long as we hold that 365 as support, which we are, I could easily take profit up back at the 200 or wait until we test that declining 65 as well.
I'm going to switch over to BMRA real quick because it's starting to break down into the demand zone. So if we don't get any, the buying up in here, then it's just going to have to wait until later to see what happens with it.
ARQT tried to break that 330 there and stopped, pulled off that spot. Miles saying BMRA, excuse me, at the previous resistance of 145. That was from the pre-market.
I'm getting a little bit of ARQT. I want to see if I can have a resolution of this. It's kind of flagging a bit here. I just want to see if I can capture about 10 cents at the least. And I'm in it small, so if it goes down, I'll just stop out and be fine. I just want to see.
I'm totally confident and happy with the small position that I have. Just holding it and see what happens right here. We're still within that flag, that consolidation, so it still looks nice to me. ICCT, we did bounce off the 365 straight to the 200, and we're getting stopped a little bit at 200, so it's a little concerning, but I'm still feeling that we could break through there and get back up to that declining 65, see what's going to happen here. If you guys are familiar with Flow Trade at all, we had some buying over in Flow Trade as well for BMRA. ICCT is not in there, though.
Jay, give us a setup. What are you seeing here? I don't see a tradable setup in those stocks. I guess Netflix and Tesla went off the gate here, but open to all of it. Let us know. Let us know what you're saying.
All those types of stocks I like for much longer time frames, like a year or more.
Same.
I like
ICCT breaking down here again. Glad we stayed away from that.
And my biggest thing is when I'm messing with these things and I get a little bit of profit, I want to make sure that my position, that even if I lost my entire new position, it wouldn't hurt me.
Looks like BMRA is holding that demand zone.
If MRA, I'm expecting it to go back and retest the highs. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I have been before, but for that one, I'm thinking that it's possible. It just depends on how long we have to wait for it.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, I have to usually take my kid to school. So when I come back, I'm like, okay, so what's running? And there's plenty of stuff that's still happening that's making its second move of the day. So we're just setting up for that. And I think ARQT might be one to go. They're starting to really get a good flag forming here.
We have a ZIMV as well.
ZIM. I see ZIM. Is ZIMV real? What is that?
That's a ZIMV. ZIMV. 877,000 traded up 44%.
Yeah, that's something totally different.
This looks like it could be spready.
It doesn't look great, and I'm not interested, but it's really slow. but it is moving up the list, and that's one of the things I look for, guys. Anything on the top percentage gainers that are working their way up the list. A lot of times you'll have the percentage gainers early on, pre-market and everything. They'll start dropping off, and then all of a sudden you'll see these rare beauties climb up the list. And that's the ones that could have the potential, but this is not one of them, I don't think.
It could be squeezing. It's got 7.7 short interest, and it's 13.5 days to cover nearly. So that may be helping it move up here.
Real quick here, Easy Mike saying, I love PayPal here, Ryan. So what do you love about PayPal? Here's your daily chart for PayPal. Looks like this is just kind of in a long-term sideways. Maybe we're coming up off the bottom. What kind of targets do you like here, Easy Mike, for PayPal? Jay, told you last week, let's go ahead and review this. Lot in here. Told you last week, NVIDIA held the 50-day, which it did here. That's the yellow line on my chart here at 450. Broke through the 21-day at 479. Date with 500 coming as long as 479 holds. Okay, so we're only 7 points away from that. That 500 looks like that would be a triple top here. I got it at about 505. Looks like you're still long NVIDIA here. Slow grind up here. I'm not taking a new trade here on NVIDIA today. I guess if you wanted to play that with options, you're still looking at about $7 here. Easy Mike saying you're looking up to about 64 here, looking at a 200-day test. 64.05. I've got the 200-day at 64.60 here on PayPal. Actually, I like this one too. Stop at 60.55.
I was just wondering, how many times have you guys had that happen where you watch the SPY make such a strong move up and you're just like, oh, it's too high now, it's overextended, I'm not going to touch it, and then you just watch it continue to beast out for the next, I don't know how many months.
Every day this month.
Good answer.
No, we've been in happy hour. We've been talking a lot about how a lot of indicators are just absolutely screaming at us. This entire market is completely overbought. RSIs are just hanging above 70s for multiple days, sometimes in the 80s. There's things that are at valuations that just don't make sense. It's, we're looking. We want downside so that we can make the move up. Make more sense to us.
We want to be able to do more trades where we're kind of buying and holding. And Mitch talks about this all the time. The attempt to try and swing trade, try and be in something for the long haul. That's really where the wealth move is. And to Joe's point here, we're really waiting for that market to come in to set that next move up, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's for me. It's always I want to bring it into your body. Like the football. I always say this analogy, but I want it to come to me a little bit, and it's just. When we're continuing to push the highs, feels a bit like chasing. I don't know. I have to have a trade that I'm not buying where I'm expecting a nice, solid, big pullback and put me into the red and make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, ARQT did sell all the way off down to
about
$3.
BMRA breaking down more here. I think that's probably done for the day.
Yeah, I would wait and see what happens with this later.
IVVD popping here. Good call, Tuna. I didn't have my scanner up here. That's at the top of it. What is going on here? IVVD. Is this a news move? Positive initial results from a phase 3 trial this morning. 13, don't you always say phase 3 sell the news?
I think that's a good sell the news catalyst, because after that, then you have to raise money to bring the market to product.
Product to market, reverse that.
Yeah, sorry.
I do it all the
That's what I
time.
mean.
CUEN popping here as well. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just mentioning that one too, because I saw Miles and Smoke Tuna mentioning that one.
That actually looking like that's going for a double top here. SQQQ turning around here. Maybe the market takes another high. I do have layered stops set on that SQQQ. I think it was Kevin that was asking me about that earlier. IVVD 316 high.
So this would be typical penny stocks, right, guys?
For CUEN, you mean?
For the BMRA and ICCT, I mean, just typical penny stocks.
Yep. Trade them when the Mo's in your favor. Wait, otherwise, stay out of them and wait for them when it's not. And I think that's the side that you're on with BMRA here. You're in the wait and see mode.
SS Trade's asking me thoughts on an alt short. I'm sorry, thoughts on a short for Altimmune ALT. I'm looking at the chart. I see that we could golden cross it some point pretty soon here, and it's coming up to a previous level back on December. The thing is that it's very, very overbought, and we are pretty much trying to fill this gap if we move beyond the highs from December 7th. Shorting it, I mean, it's a biotech stock. I don't know why it's even moving up. I don't have any fundamental thoughts on this. It looks like it could be a short because of how extended it is, though. That's really the only thing I can give you, just without any other knowledge, is that there's a potential to fill the gap, potential for golden cross, potential to break out at 500 SMA, but with how extended it is, I don't know what's driving it even today.
So we finally did come back up to retest that declining 65, but it just so happens that once we did that on ICCT, that declining 65 dropped right below the 200. So potential rejection right here on ICCT if we break through this level at what, 273-ish. You know, then we have to contend with the VWAP, but still we might have something on our hands if we can get back above that.
CUEN pulling here.
ICCT has really good reaction to that buy zone. I'm sorry, the demand zone.
IVVD stopping here.
Yeah, no problem, SS Trades. I really would want to look at the fundamentals and see what, or the news and see what's going on with it today. But I just don't have an opinion on whether or not to short it. It just looks like it's really extended, and I'd be careful if I was bullish. But so is the whole market, and that thing just wants to keep going, doesn't it?
Yeah, back in the day, I think penny stocks were more like that. I don't know what happened to penny stocks.
Well, they might have a redemption coming soon. If we have,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, if we have rates dropping, it's going to feed into that whole market of.
It's going to be up to finding good companies at that point, though. I think that, Joe, the thing that I'm the most excited about, if that environment comes back, is that fundamentals might matter again, and we might be able to make educated decisions on things that I know. It's just like, I hope that that's the case. I'm with you. ICCT continuing its curl here. A 282 is its VWAP. We'll see if it curls all the way back to that 282 spot.
Yeah, I look at the 5 minute for these usually. If I want to get down to it, I'll go back to a 1 minute. But it looks like ICCT is trying to come back and reclaim those the 280 level.
Some size here at 273. We'll see if they take it. Cat's going to try to get in trouble here today. Oh, they're taking that size at 273. This looks like this might try to go higher here.
The market was rude as always. And when I say rude, I mean that, you know, when you think that we might get some sort of a pullback and that we might get one bearish day, what does it do? It pops right back to the highs.
I was mentioning in the happy hour chat that we could see a green day today because we just had our quad witching. So after all that premium gets settled, my expectation was that we're going to see it rotate right back into the market, get redeployed. So we may be seeing that. I don't know. What's the SPY looking at like right now? We still
Higher.
up?
It looks
Higher?
like it's looking like it's trying to go higher. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sure that that's why it's going higher.
And there, wow, yeah, there we go. Just broke out in the SPY for the day, I think.
I mean, Altimmune SS trades on a 5 minute. It looks like it's flagging like it wants to go higher. So I wouldn't, I'd be careful if you're shorting.
IVVD tried to take that next leg higher here. ICCT maybe still curling. CUEN looking like that is rejected again at that double top. IVVD going higher here. Wow.
CUEN looking like it's hitting about the highs where it was from previous runs back in November back in November 2 times.
ICCT, that bounce might have stopped. We'll see.
It went right to my number, Ryan.
There you go.
ARQT trying to get back above VWAP.
Q's at the highs. Thanks, Jay. Despite Microsoft and Apple, let me ask you, Jay, do you make anything of that? It seems like rotation out of some of this. Apple's at lows too. Day lows. It's up off the lows, but that's lower here.
Netflix is putting in the new highs, so that's helping lift the Qs.
Yes, it is.
looking
IVVD
more like
continuing to go
down.
higher here on IVVD.
Sorry, what were you saying, Ryan? I'm sorry. I'm getting everybody's name mixed up.
Take that.
Andy.
Too many people. IVVD.
I was just saying BMRA is
Monster.
looking more likely to go back to $1 at this point. But the SPY, man, this is incredible.
Yeah, that one's chewing through the demand zone. So,
Jay's saying, yeah,
they still are.
I was going to say this isn't over. They're still hiding in Apple.
Yeah, I think not this Andy, but another Andy that we talk about. I think he was correct when he said there are going to be people that are going to be slowly exiting these Magnificent Seven, these high runners, getting into other stocks, rotating them. But until that time it happens, they're just going to stay in there, wait for the price to go up, and then they'll slowly exit and redeploy their capital. So that's what we're kind of expecting with those. They eventually will go down slowly. ARQT still trying to get above VWAP, losing volume. What's ICCT doing now? Still holding that demand zone. So let's see. Last week for SPY, we put in a high of what? Like 470.
4 tests coming for IVVD here. And through huge. God, IVVD, what a massive move.
I haven't even pulled that one up yet.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at the chart here. There's like no entry for this. This would be gambling, just to kind of get back to what Jay was saying earlier. I feel like playing this one would be gambling unless you hit this early before the volume started to expand. Now that the volume is expanded, this is the thing that you want to sell into.
Sometimes when it's when it's really risky like that, and what I like to do is think maybe instead of going for something that's going to pay my bills, go for something that's going to buy me some Chipotle.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with Chipotle. That's a good day.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, getting a free steak sub, is not bad. Or not sub. See, the brain's not on.
Shot looks like it. I can't really say how high Shot's going to go, but I would be worried that it's going to do the same thing it did previously, where it just makes these large top wicks and then just sells off the next day.
Stopped out of some of my SQQQ, Kevin, if you're still out there. Another plunge probably takes me out of the rest of it, but that's okay because we're still green in the main port. Hey, if you can't beat them, join them.
Looking for ARQT to bust over VWAP.
I can bring that up here. IVVD stopping here, 434 that high, pulling back to 4 here. We'll see if that gets rolling here. Here's your ARQT 13, right at that VWAP.
Yeah. And I've got limits out, so if it runs, great, I'll fill. If not, then I'll just stop out.
Yeah, typically, I don't know about you guys, but I like to start my day playing chess, especially when I have brain fog like today. That way I can experience a loss before I get into the market. So I'm more ready to, accept.
So do you mean actually playing chess?
Oh, yeah. Getting on my phone, I really suck, dude.
Yeah, I'm not a good chess player either. I wish I was. IVVD back now to highs. That not tradable, really. Let me know if you...
Neil beat me so bad that he sent me a message and he's like, here's a free subscription to chess.com, bro.
Mara has a nice setup on the daily.
Neil.
Bassam, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but you brought up Mara, and a lot of good technical crossings here happening. We're running too. Like, we're coming up to a if it comes up to $20 and busts through that, it's probably going to go up to 21.50 pretty easily. ARQT getting rejected at VWAP.
When you guys are doing your intraday trades, do you ever walk through your loss before you pull the trigger? That way you're more prepared for it, because I feel that makes it a lot easier for me, because I don't put in hard stop.
Walk through your loss? I don't think I know what you mean.
Basically,
I know.
Before I get into a trade, I'm going through that loss. I'm working through that loss mentally before it even gets there. That way, if and when the market goes in the wrong direction, I'm not shocked and I'm ready for it. I've already sort of done it,
For me, I just make a decision before I even place a trade how much I'm willing to risk, and that helps me make the decision on what size to use, how much I want to get on the way down. So it's kind of like that dynamic where I just have like a set figure that I'm willing to risk on, and then I just trade around that.
Yeah, I originally did that, but I found that I like to try to talk myself into a new stop. So I had to start taking precautionary measures against me wanting to do that.
As long as you have a trade plan, I think that's what everybody needs to take away from this.
Yeah, predefined risk is number one. What we don't lose is number one, in my opinion. Making money is easy, but losing it's even easier, especially if we do foolish things. So, if we're protecting the downside, I think that this just becomes, a nice job where you come to work and you don't have to talk to other people. So.
One day I will be there where I'll be able to show up to work and not talk to anybody, but
you'll be in the chat with us.
I was going to say, as I was saying that, I was thinking to myself, no, I'll probably be in the chat with you guys, and that probably won't be the case. I'll probably still be talking to you folks. By the way, real quickly, Bassam asking about Mara. How about it? Seems to be moving with a Bitcoin pop that we got here this morning. This does kind of seem like an outsized move. It's worth noting every time we talk about these, I just want to say, I watch Bitcoin every day. I have Bitcoin myself. I'm a Bitcoin bull, but I don't ever trade these names, because this to me, kind of going back to Jay's comment about trading some of these smaller names, this to me, even more like gambling than trying to play technical price action on small price stocks. This to me, guessing what the stocks are going to do based on the move in Bitcoin when you're not even sure about the move in Bitcoin, just have never really been able to make that connection well enough to be able to have consistent trading. But big pop here in Mara today.
Look at the daily.
Right near that double top. Still think that this could retest 20 here though, 13.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you're getting a golden cross, so I think you're probably going to see this go higher.
One of my longer term holdings, I guess we can talk about it since there is some news here this morning. I had mentioned that I was talking to one of my buddies regarding Ideal Power, and this being the next potential end phase in terms of its price action and its movement. They do a transistor here for EVs. And there was actually some news here today, having a really good day, up 14% here. Stellantis naming Ideal Power finalist in 2023 for the Venture Awards. So I am actually going to go through. I have not had enough time to read this entire PR here this morning. I definitely want to do that, but this definitely seems like good news here going forward for IPWR. This is a longer term hold for me, up 14% here. Let me just see where my average price is. My average price on this is $10.05. So I'm actually underwater about $1 here, but very, very encouraged by the news that I'm seeing today. So just FYI, you guys asked me about this before. I told you about it before. Nothing has changed until this morning. Good piece of news. Holding acting all right here.
We have Jonathan asking about Wolf. I'm going to pull that one up.
Does that WULF?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the news with this one today? Oh, is this another Bitcoin?
I don't see any news here today. Yeah,
it's moving it with Bitcoin.
Moving with Bitcoin. There you go. Here's ZimV on the scanner now, by the way.
You guys,
IVVD pulling good. This is actually a good call here, Miles. IVVD pulling back towards its VWAP. We'll see what it does when it gets to its VWAP. I've got VWAP at 378. Current price here at 4.
It does look like a Bitcoin lagger. That's a good point. Now, one thing I'm noticing with AR,
sorry,
no worries. One thing I'm noticing with ARQT is if we continue to break down, we're going to be filling a gap down to about 275. My first thought on that would be that we bounce on that gap fill. So
okay, so you're thinking 275 potential buy spot there if it comes back in.
Yeah, if you look at because you can see it right there on a daily. I think if you maybe scroll it back out a bit, so you can see more of a longer time. There you go. You see right there? No, there you go.
Right here, there. Right in here, I think.
Yeah, you got the volume candle kind of blocking that gap.
Yep.
But that's where I'm looking at for it to fill.
You got that right.
So there's just one thing that we can do. What else do we have?
This is a good question to answer here. Monica asking, do you guys suggest using VWAP on daily and swing at all times? So I'll be honest with you, I'll start here. 13, I'd love to get your opinion here on VWAP as well. Andy as well. I know Andy's a big 65 EMA guy, but we'll ask him about the VWAP. I use the VWAP the most on intraday charts for shorter term trading, especially day trading. The one thing I will say is that on a daily chart here, I'll note the VWAP figure because sometimes when stocks get extended from their VWAP, they like to kind of come back, especially if we're in like a chop setting. But for the most part, Monica, I stick to using VWAP intraday. I like to use it as an indicator of, is the stock strong? Is the stock weak? Is there a potential support or resistance point in there?
Same. I only use it for intraday trading. I don't use it on daily or longer time frames.
BMRA.
I mean, it could be a potential.
Go ahead, Andy. Sorry. It's my fault.
It could be a potential area of rejection, or support, but mainly I just look at it as are we bullish? Are we bearish? What kind of territory are we in intraday, like you guys said?
Yeah. So I think that's consensus there, Monica, mostly used for intraday.
I find when it comes to spaghetti like that using on longer time frames, just using the standard 20, 50, 200 SMAs seem to do pretty well if you're looking for levels or where things can potentially sell off to on bad news. The weeklies and monthlies have been really, really good in where there's an expectation of downside.
Real quick here, Chewy, this was a new swing initiated last week. I bought calls here. I bought the February 25 calls. This actually encouraging action here today. We did have Chewy a little bit weaker right out of the open. That dip was bought, and now we're moving higher here on Chewy. So that swing trade looking pretty good so far. I actually, looking at this daily chart, I like for Chewy to move higher here. Wouldn't be surprised if this made a run at that 24.25 level. I've got the 500-day EMA, or excuse me, the 200 EMA on this 200-day EMA, beg your pardon, at 27.16. I actually think we get some resistance ahead of that. CUEN. Nice comeback. I took that off my screen here. What's that one doing? You're not kidding. Nice comeback. Look at that. It was the third time. It was that third attempt through the top. Actually, it looks like it was the fourth attempt. Looks like the third attempt got rejected. Man, that's tough trade here. CUEN higher here. Good call, Tuna.
So what's the thought here with CUEN? Because this is interesting when I'm reading what they're about. It's basically a fintech, e-banking, e-commerce service provider that services the Hispanic and Latino population. I'm interested in that because we're seeing rotation with manufacturing and business out of China and to other countries, and Mexico and certain Latin American countries are one of those that will benefit from that, along with Vietnam, of course, Japan, Australia, Malaysia, and Indonesia, and Thailand. So it's interesting that this is running because I think that could be maybe a play on that rotation.
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I don't know, Joe.
I mean, it's a big speculation, but it's one of the things that I've been watching. We were talking about those Mexico ETFs for the longest time, and they did really, really well. As soon as wow, this thing is just moving.
I was gonna say if that's the case, I think this probably goes much higher, doesn't it?
It could very well.
Time, yeah.
If that's what we're seeing here, but I don't know. I'm just
I don't either.
But
I just took some profit over here in CUEN. Thanks for that one, guys.
Nice.
while we're doing
this,
the fundamentals, I'm just over here taking profit. Love that, Andy. Ring that register. that was literally perfect.
This thing is a monster.
It sure is.
Are you looking for some consolidation right about where we are here? 13?
For CUEN?
Yeah.
13, I'm gonna throw your chart up here real quick.
Because we should be in it. Like I have a chart here, and we're kind of getting into this area here where it's starting to get heavy. So probably we're just kind of in it right now. Like we should be getting into this this supply, and then we'll get into this one and all this, and people are going to want to get out of it because they've been in it for a year. Maybe 350 could be a good spot, but I just would watch the volume, to be honest. Map these demand zones, watch in the supply zones, and watch the volume. Watch the order book. Let's go back to a smaller time frame here.
And I went ahead and grabbed a little more on that pullback, seeing if I can sell it up back towards resistance again.
Looks like just about everything Bitcoin is running right now.
All right, sorry about that. Came back to a CUEN pull.
Yeah, right. And I decided to get crazy and buy the pullback. So
okay, here we go.
It's just a massive move today. Yeah. Well, what else is working? What do we got out here?
Chewy's working.
CLF and X up on merger. We knew about X. Nippon from Japan is acquiring them. CLF. Yeah. Let's take a look at that.
That's Cleveland Cliffs.
That must be a relation trade then.
Put some more profit on CUEN.
That was a great play off that bounce there too, Andy. Andy, you got the fast trigger finger today. Let's go.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, dude, I have TradeStation, and I just have to say, I'm not saying they're the fastest broker in the world for everybody, but for me, man, oh my gosh, like this is like It's being in the it's like being in an Evo versus a Ford Escort, you know, something like that. Obviously, train
IVVD.
station's not the Escort, but
CUN trying to go higher.
ARQT breaking down.
see right here when we break to a new high like we just did, and if we don't immediately start sort of beasting out at that point, that's when I'm looking for this thing to pull back to like 236 and see if we can start getting that flagging action. And you know, I'm always looking for it to double the flag as well. Penny stocks, they seem to do that over and over again. What gets really interesting is when you've doubled the flag 7 times and you're now sitting at like, you know, 4,000% ripper. That's days that I kind of miss. We need some popcorn days. And we got that perfect real body rejection here on the 5-minute as well for CUEN. I'm always watching these real body levels. Whenever we pop that nice green candle on the 5-minute, have that upper shadow, looking to see that next candle get rejected right at that real body. The spread and the fills kind of suck a little bit on CUEN. Or is it just my luck?
What's the?
I didn't trade CUEN. I was watching IVVD, although this looking like this might be curling back towards the highs on IVVD. What do you think?
With a 2.2 million float, you're going to see it get real spready.
Oh, CUEN 2.2 million float. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're curling back up cliffhanger here on BMRA.
I see that. I was looking for that to kind of bear flag on its way down, but it's getting support on the 5-minute from none other than the 65 EMA.
I can't tell you how many times, you know, this thing that basically what we're doing curling right now, that was a typical rejection for the longest time. And then I started looking for that rejection, and it became the status quo where we would drop and we would break that support and then we would fly to a new high. So, I mean, it is potential, but it could potentially do that here. But, you know, I'm always looking for that rejection. It's instilled in me.
CUEN might be curling here. Yeah.
Looks like it's about ready to try to take out those highs at around 280. Or at least gearing up to.
And IVVD, by the way, here, I took that off my screen. Let me go back to that real quick while we're kind of waiting on CUEN here. IVVD looked like this was going to try to, it's really kind of getting blacked right in here, 438.
So CUEN sort of saved my day over in my other account. I have a much nicer account or a much nicer day in my main account, but as far as those 2 bad ones that I had in this account,
Voodoo bringing out the jokes here this morning. Absolutely love it, Voodoo. I'm with you on that. Sorry, I get easily distracted by things that I find hilarious.
Ryan, that is the one thing I miss the most about streaming every day. Is just having an amazing community to joke with and just, you know, BS.
I'll tell you what, man, it really helps. It really helps. Even this morning, by the way, IVVD gearing here. For those of you that are watching it, I'm just kind of watching it here, just trying to call out moves here. But anyway, as far as, I mean, like even this morning, like the community here this morning, not the easiest morning, community here making it amazing. You two, by the way, part of that community. So pat yourself on the back and do me a favor, smash up the like for my dudes Andy and 13 holding it down on Mitch's birthday. I'm gonna bust him tomorrow and be like, Mitch, you better have had a good time on your birthday because we had a good time for you on your birthday here. Nick, ICCT, and we love that you love it, my man. We love that you love it. Welcome.
ICCT, it took a big knife down beneath the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, and now it's trying to get back above it. Just something to watch. ARQT got dropped, and then now it's kind of bouncing. Maybe it comes back up to the 65 here, but I think VWAP goes through it first.
Real quick, Miles, CUEN dipping to VWAP here. Good call there. That is breaking down. Do you have that chart on? No, you do. You have CUEN here.
I thought you were saying this is the short 65 EMA. Sorry. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Here, let me turn those on. I'll turn this off. There we go. So there's a 65 on the 5-minute for CUEN.
Love it, Carmen. And that's the other thing too, is that I try to add value any way that I can. That's the whole like thing behind the happy hour in this show and tied it into pro. Always open to your feedback too. Not just you, but anyone out there. If there's anything that we can do to make this more valuable, let us know. IVVD may be breaking out here and going higher on IVVD. They took out size at 245 there on IVVD.
BMRA trying to return to VWAP. It's getting there. I pulled it up on my screen.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and I can switch too. IVVD though, this one going.
Yeah, we have a potential for a nasty rejection here on CUEN. We're sort of a cliffhanger on this one as well.
So it's almost 9:30. Okay, well this is about when we get some of the second runs. This is when I get back from taking my kid to school and be like, okay, guys, what's
running? Yeah. No, that's hysterical that you have those times laid out. That is really awesome.
Well, it's because of the way I drive.
Let's go. From one driver to another, I can appreciate that, 13.
And Ryan, I want to appreciate you. I want to thank you for inviting me on today, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Anytime. I appreciate any time that you folks can jump in. Let me know. I'll say this: I'm in a bad habit of only asking you folks to join when I need help. I'm trying to break that habit. Just so you folks are all aware, Mitch does an extraordinary job planning everything for this particular show. Mitch is responsible for finding Trade the Pool, who, by the way, we just got asked in happy hour about prop firms. One of the gentlemen that was joining there was asking about prop firms, looking into it himself. I said, hey, look, you might as well try Trade the Pool. This is the best prop firm that I've found. When I first started, a couple of my friends went the prop firm route. They would tell me about a lot of these different things, restrictions they had. I couldn't really relate to it. Trade the Pool does an excellent job. Mitch lined that up himself. Mitch lines up guests himself. You've seen him dress up. You've seen him bring in audio, music, all types of stuff to the stream. So anytime that I can contribute, I try to do that. And my specialty is guests. You two folks should get you in here more when Mitch is here so we can have a nice big party and celebrate together with Mitch. I'll try to do that.
Free flow trader. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's asking, is trailing stop a thing in stock community? I use it sometimes. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. So the interesting there, trailing stop works for me when I have a real good swing trade that I'm just trying to exit. Right. I'll put a trailing stop in there. It'll kick up as the stock continues to move up, and it'll lighten my position down to nothing. I have not used those probably in an entire year. IVVD curling back up here. Good call. Smoked tuna, and I'll say this: you were just talking about our community. Smoked tuna never takes the eyes off the scanner. You can always rely on good calls when tuna is around.
The way I use trailing stop is usually when I'm already positive in the stock and I want to set a stop. I'll just set a trailing stop because it just incrementally sets it higher for me, so I don't have to worry about it. I know I'm going to get more and more positive the higher it goes. And then when it comes down, I'll just have a higher stop at that point. That's really like the only time I ever use it. I don't use it really for anything else.
Free flow trader. If Trade the Pool has a few FX pairs, then there's no reason to use other prop firms. So this is an interesting point. I don't trade FX currency. Have you guys ever done that? Have you guys ever dabbled in that, Andy or Joe?
Nope. My first paper trades I ever took was Forex. That was way back in 2008. So no.
So you know what, Andy, now that you mention that, I might have tried paper trading Forex too way back in the day. Never really got into that though. I have no experience here, so I'm not going to pretend like I do have experience. What I will, Gil joins us all the time. Gil, if you know about this, let the chat know. Good feedback for you too. I can appreciate this free flow. IVVD holding this area, looking like this is trying to go higher here, but kind of in no man's land, could also break down.
ARQT trying to get above 65 EMA, retake VWAP.
Voodoo, some more good feedback here. The time limit restriction. Some of those restrictions are probably bendable. This is really good feedback, Voodoo. I'll go ahead and deliver that.
And CUEN just covered my losses in everything on this account.
Excellent.
So that's a good day then. CUEN looks like this is coming back up off that 9 and 15 EMA. Carmen, looks like you're talking about a potential swing trade here. Guys, interrupt me if you have any of the fast trades coming, but would definitely like to look into this. Carmen saying, hey, anyone else thinking of buying SPWR? Let me go ahead and bring that up here in case I need to consult the
Sun
chart.
Power?
This is Sun Power. Here's my thinking. One, not the first time it had a going concern issue. Had a loan default due to a third party, thinking the lender will renegotiate. And 3, last earnings, it had some bright spots in storage. 4, considered America's best solar manufacturer. I really have a hard time seeing if this will go to actually go to bankruptcy. So one thing here, I don't have any angle on the bankruptcy. Sounds like you've actually looked into that. What I will say here is if we are entering a new rate cutting environment, solar should outperform. It should do pretty well. And SunPower, one of those. Looking at the chart here, we are near a dead bottom. So if it's going to bounce, I mean, to me, I'd want this to hold. I'd be okay waiting. I wouldn't necessarily be in a rush, or maybe I'd start with some small starter positions here. I'd open this up to any of you folks. Sorry.
It's okay. ARQT is getting over VWAP. It's starting to move again.
There we go. ARQT.
I don't know how long this run goes. This is like the third candle in the 5-minute. Typically, when you see that, the next one is sometimes red. More
IVVD breaking down to VWAP here, by the way.
But yeah, what you're saying about solar power, yeah, in rate cutting environments, yeah, I would expect that to do better. I don't know and I have any opinion on this, but if this company is so bad that waiting for the rate cuts isn't going to save it, then that's probably what the angle is here, that why everybody's getting out of it. It just time is not on their side.
Yeah, rate cutting environment is another positive reason. Let's watch this. Do me a favor, Carmen. I don't have this, so it's possible that I'm actually going to forget about this ticker, one of those out of sight, out of mind things. Do me a favor and continue to bring this up if you're watching it, because I would like to track how solar does. I'm not in solar yet. Tan would be the way that I'd play it, especially early on, just to make sure there's not a head fake, but I'm interested in this. And Rustam, good morning, Rustam. First of all, saying, I actually watch you guys on a big TV at home. That's fun. We will really appreciate that. Let's take a look here at NRXP. I know that this is one of the penny stocks from this morning that actually had a pop. Did this have news? I know this popped in the pre-market as high as 60 cents, really came back and has just kind of been a dog since then. Can't even reclaim its VWAP. Did we have news here? Yeah. FDA clearance of its investigational new drug application for the treatment of a urinary tract infection. Okay. And that sounds good. This market
Warrants
not liking this, though. Say again?
It has warrants. Those are up 20%.
Yeah. Market not liking the ticker here. Wait to see if this finds a base, Rustam. Maybe this bases gives you a tradable bottom and then starts to curl back up. By the way, IVVD, this did come into the VWAP here. Tried to bounce. We'll see. IVVD. ARQT, Joe, the one that you're looking at, that is stopped right here at VWAP. Do you have that on your... Looks like,
no, I'm looking at
I just wanted to make sure.
ICOR,
I just wanted to check there.
It's ICOR is looking not great right now. So I just wanted to see if it's going to start to break down. Let me bring up ARQT. Yeah, we did test that VWAP, got a rejection, but we're not done yet. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Just need the volume. CXDO, I'll bring that one up. Oh, yeah, look at that one. That one just giving 0 Fs today.
Which one? Sorry, I was responding to something, putting out a fire here.
CXDO.
You guys short any of these penny stocks?
Yeah. No.
I am not good at shorting.
Yeah, neither am I. And Andy, one of the warnings that I give people is like, if I'm going to short something, I'd rather short something that's $400 as opposed to something that's $2. But I know exactly where you're going with that. You're talking about very tactical price action and all of that. That's not a fair point for me to make. But no, I don't generally.
No, it's definitely a lot of extra work to find the shorts a lot of times for some of these, but
Yeah, I have played, to the short side, but it's only so briefly because I don't want to.
I just have visions of getting squeezed out of my position.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
the fear.
Let's contrast it to the SQQQ short. I was frustrated with holding an SQQQ against the grain, but I was frustrated mostly because I thought that the market should be doing something else and it wasn't. I wasn't getting squeezed in a matter of seconds to a breaking point. I was able to actually hold that scale out. And in fact, the losses that I were incurred were outweighed by the gains that I was making in my regular holdings. So I didn't have this fear that I would have if I was, being squeezed out of a position. And I feel like that's more common if you're trying to trade a penny stock. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, I think it kind of answers the question, and it speaks to what I do, because when I'm always looking for high short interest, high days to cover, it's because I want to see
squeezes. Yeah.
So I'm not so much a person that likes to short things as much as I like to go long.
All right, guys. So we got CIFR 3.9 million traded up 15% right now. Another one of these bull flag type trades, penny stock.
So are you looking for this to just break higher here, Andy?
This thing just came up on my scanner, so I'm just looking at it.
Yeah, this is another one of those Bitcoin stocks. What's with going with GameStop, Nick? Is it just
here? I'll put you up 13.
Oh wow. We traded up over VWAP, and now we're holding it for now. But are we really going to see another meme stock thing happen here? Do you guys want to see that happen?
I mean, no. I mean, yes and no, honestly. Like, yes, I want to see some crazy volatility that gets everyone interested in what we do, and it gets everyone interested in the stock market again. But I feel like that's just going to end in pain for people. And no, I don't want that.
Yeah. I could see both sides too.
I can see both sides. That's exactly it.
What do you think? Is
a small amount of profit on the CIFR as well?
Nice. Is that about the only thing running right now? Are these Bitcoin miners?
That CIFR was a really nice pull towards VWAP and then a big move. The volume candle's not huge. If the volume continues to expand in this name, Andy, I think you might have something. This might even go higher than it is.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but then I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it to. A lot of times, going for that bigger move just isn't worth it in these plays,
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, there were a couple where I was holding for a bigger move, gave up all my gains on them. Actually, I think wasn't there a trade last week? I put in a stop right at break even. It was a trade the pool trade. And I put in a stop right at break even. And the stock came, I can't remember what ticker that was. That was a penny stock. Last week that happened. I protected myself for the downside, but I didn't really walk away with much money.
And we got ICCT getting hammered right now. Same thing with ARQT.
Yeah, so it looks like we didn't get those other runs that you were accustomed to, Joe. We actually got breakdowns from those.
Yeah, I'm not saying the day's quite over yet. We'll see. I mean, with ICCT, we got this 9 crossing down over the 65. That's usually followed by this candle of types. The 15 is going to do the same thing, pull it down more. We got the same thing slightly in ARQT. I'll go over to that. So there's the crossing beneath the 65, and we got a red candle, and it continued to go down, but we're going back up. So these crossings I watch for, and when they happen, then I'm just like, okay, well, this thing's going to go lower. And when they cross, like we're about to get across here from the 15 down beneath the can't really see it. There's the orange is the 65. That's the 15. Mm-hmm. We get across down there. This should come down, probably down to the 200. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That rejection.
Yeah, I'm looking at that rising 200 on the 5-minute at 210. Is that what you're looking at?
Mm-hmm. For ARQT or ICCT?
ICCT.
That I have, 210. That could be another bounce level right there too in this one. Yep.
And I went ahead and took some just now. I don't know, probably not the best idea, but I did. I took some just now.
Probably because you're looking at this, all the pre-market support here, and be like, "That looks pretty good." I would agree too. That looks pretty good right there.
Also, you working off profits, if I'm not mistaken, Andy, right? So you actually have a little bit of leeway here today, which I think strategy-wise, really good way to play it.
I'm working off profits, but I have a grudge from giving back some money on ICCT still. So I'm working on that grudge more, I think.
Okay. At least you're honest with it, my man. I appreciate that.
But if that revenge trade works, it's going to be so sweet.
Oh, it's going to be so sweet, dude. It's going to be so good.
That's why I'm looking at that rising level of 211 now here.
Man, volume just evaporated.
Yeah,
what
it
is
looks
moving
heavy
right
there.
now? What is getting the volume? I need to switch to scanners.
Tesla's still holding higher here. I know Lynn and Randy were excited about Tesla earlier. Let's go. We can take a look at that, see if any of these bigger stocks are giving us tradable moves. Chewy really started its little bounce there and just kind of died off. So we'll see if that's, what the rest of the market is going to look like here. So take a look at INOD. That sold off again.
Oh, really? Where's INOD at? Because I got out
INOD's right at 830. So it looked like it was trying to go higher here today, but right down to where it sold off to on Friday.
For some reason that says Apple. Let me try again here. Well, I have INOD plugged in, but Apple's coming up. Let me see if I can refresh here.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's really ESPR, maybe a bust through 2.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is a nice support level for INOD. I would expect it to kind of find a more support closer to 8, but maybe I'll start getting back into this one because I started getting out when this ran from
on that last huge move. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and it started flattening here at around 8. Then I just left the position, and then it ran.
Andy, maybe you're getting your bottom here in ICCT. Is this starting to curl here?
Ever so slightly, but something like this, I think about the world of averaging down, and I think that a lot of times they'll pull off, stop at a really nice location, and say, "Hey, you guys, the water's good. Come on in." Trying to get any last suckers in there. That's just my theory.
No, I'm with you on that.
I'd say if you are somebody that averages down, probably be weary when the bus stops and the door opens and somebody smiles and waves.
I do it all the time, especially with year-long positions or longer. I love averaging into those.
Right. Yeah. When you're told the water's nice, it's probably more of a trap. But
yes, I don't want to hold any of these longer than that. Yeah, exactly.
Had to, dude. And actually, PayPal looking pretty decent here. I know we talked. Easy Mike said liked PayPal here. PayPal looked like it was trying to kind of move to the downside, but held in here. Looking at this candle on PayPal, if this holds and doesn't go much lower, maybe we do continue to move up here. PayPal. That's an interesting one, Easy Mike. I didn't open a swing on that, but you have me tempted now.
Right up to 65 on the 5.
He has me tempted. Easy Mike, bring it.
Got a potential rejection here also after curling back up in the SPY.
CUEN moving back up to the highs here. Good call. Miles, Smoke, Tuna. Let's go, guys. You guys have sharp eyes. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about with the community. CUEN, we might be trying to take the top off here. 284, your intraday high. I don't see size there yet on my level 2. They're pulling it off that spot. Let's see here.
Volume's coming in.
Volume is coming in here. Nice expanding volume. That's what we're looking for. This is a good shot, Miles. Good spot. Yeah, so Jay, speaking of interrupt me here if CUEN busts here, but Jay, chiming in here on the averaging down conversation that we're having. I only average down on good quality names. I try to stay to this too, and averaging down really is only effective for me when it comes to investments or swing trade. When there's a thesis, when there's a long-term view, that's when I'll consider averaging down. When it comes to day trades, I feel like if I'm averaging down into some downside momentum, I'm just setting myself up for disaster.
Throwing good money at a bad trade, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it, actually.
That's why I mark my supply and demand zones.
Yeah, I like that. I actually was looking at your chart earlier, 13. I'm not sure that I've actually ever seen those zones in the moment. I really like what you're doing there.
It really does
just
help.
visually. It's visually appealing for me and helpful.
Mm-hmm. It's been probably the biggest reason why I feel more comfortable averaging in, because I know if I'm still getting better prices with above the demand zone, then that demand zone still has a lot of potential. And I have there's a whole plan, like we were talking about earlier about getting, look at CUEN just nice.
Yeah, this is pulling VWAP at 232, by the way, on CUEN. We'll see if we get down there. Humble Ninja has a good question here. Joe, I'll throw this to you if you want to answer it. I'm still watching CUEN here. What is the difference between supply, demand, and support resistance?
Not really that much. They're just because when I call supply and demand, I'm just looking at previous price action where there was a lot of buying and selling. Now, everything that's above where the price is going to be supply, and everything below the price is demand. So I know that there was, the demand zones are where there's going to potentially be more buying based on previous price action. And I know there's going to be more selling in the supply zones based on previous price action. So I look at both of those and make my determinations on how I want to trade it, knowing where the demand and where all the bag holders are. So if we get into a supply zone, then I'll probably want to start getting out of it, or get out of it sooner than that, just because that's where the resistance is. That's where you're going to see a lot of selling. And if you go to the order book and see if it matches up with your supply and demand zones, then you can feel even more confident about your trade. So it's just,
there you go, Humble Ninja. I hope that helps. Good explanation there, 13.
I felt like I messed it up, but
because I got what you're saying, and that's the thing. Like, if I'm looking at they are essentially the same thing, but I mean, you're just kind of putting it into trading lingo, right? Like, if there's demand, if it's in a demand zone and there's demand, it behooves you to be on that stock right there. If you trade up into too much supply, that's a possible resistance area. Maybe take it off. CUEN, by the way, pulled and bounced here. Sorry, Miles. That's what I mean about some of those fast movers there. That's QQQ back to the VWAP after lightening some of my shares there. You got it, Humble Ninja. No problem.
What's the I took a little bit of profit on a short
which
market
one
here? On the ES.
I gotcha. All right, 10:48 here. We're going to be wrapping up in just about 10 minutes. Good stuff here today, though. Another green day, despite holding on to a losing hedge and kind of the market kind of being all over the place. Put in another green day. We've got to thank both of you guys for that. You guys are turning into my Lucky Charms. You know that? I loved that cereal when I was a kid.
You guys remember the Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda cereal?
No, there was a cereal.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Yeah, long time ago. But look at the IW, and that's unrelated to anything. I was just
I was going to say cereal to IWM. Let's do it, folks.
Yeah. look at this movement. How we just kind of gapped up, and now we're consolidating here. I'm looking for the next move up if we hold these levels, because we've been talking small caps in this rotation. If we see the Qs and the SPY, the stocks that make up those start to sell off, I think, we've been talking about it. IWM is where they go. Small caps are absolutely hammered still. And rate cut environment.
IVVD is working its way back up towards the highs here.
That one's got me nervous. I'm not going to lie. IVVD's got me nervous.
That's another thing. I've seen so many times to where you'll have something trading. Let's say it's at $10, and it'll flush out to 77 cents. Just the craziest move you've ever seen in your life on penny stocks. So You
Yeah,
know, when it
no,
comes to being up there and making you nervous, Brian, it makes me nervous as well. And that's why I like to put in really small positions, especially after I've got that early morning move.
Wisdom Mitch got you on X. Was that off the earnings that were really good? Because I don't know if we got any news about this buyout until today.
no, Mitch, I don't. I'll let Wisdom answer that. I'm not really sure, but Mitch has been trading X for a long time. This is a stock that he watches all of the time. Big buyout there.
Well, now he's have to find something else.
Yeah, he sure is. PBLA being mentioned here. It's a penny stock, 68 cents. PBLA. Just moving back up towards the highs there, Webcoin. Swinging it since yesterday. How did you buy it on Sunday?
ICCT holding these pre-market levels.
IVVD pull back to VWAP here. CUEN maybe teasing with another upside break here. CUEN. And PBLA continuing towards the highs here, doing a really good job holding this area.
Yeah, there's some size up here in CUEN.
Yeah, 270. It looks like they're refresh selling that 270 area.
So Ryan, I just sent you a screenshot if you care to look at it later with the 65 and what it looks like when a stock dies like ICCT and what I'm looking at there. This thing looks like it's going to reject to hell, but anyways.
Yeah, let me see if I can get it here. How can I share this? Does this work? Yeah, here you go. Okay, here you go. So here, you want to explain this real quick, Andy, while I got this up?
Basically, dude, this is penny stocks every single day. We drop off that 65, that gray line up at the highs on the left where we had that bull flag action up there. And
so is it like the lighter or the darker gray line?
The lighter gray line all the way over to the left where that spike was. As soon as we dropped off that, we go and we test that 200, that red line. Then we go down and we test that dark gray, the 365, and then the rest of the day we'll reject off that light gray line if this continues to do what it's been doing. Okay, it's when we reclaim those levels where it gets interesting.
Interesting. So I have no experience using a 15-second chart, but this draws a pretty picture here. You're basically just using these indicators.
I mean, it's basically at this moment you are locked out. Like if you're taking this trade, you're completely locked out. But reclaiming those levels is where a lot of fun happens.
I was just going to say, so if it reclaims the light gray first, are you looking for a test then maybe of the red line?
Typically on the best day, when we break through the light gray, we're going to have the light gray start to work its way back above those other moving averages because right now we have that like sort of death cross, And at that point, we will come back to retest the light gray support, and that's when we find the strength, and that happens in the market. SPY doesn't have penny stocks.
Sorry to interrupt you. CUN's breaking out.
Let me go to it real quick here. Yes, sure is.
Has to be the one that I don't have a position in right now.
Of course, Andy. That's how it works.
Scalp Kuhn, 10 cents.
Nice.
You hit that for 10 cents. Nice job.
Yep. I just, with how often it's been up here, I don't know if I'm going to get smacked right back down. So I just only want to scalp this. ICCT is actually turning around though.
Look, you'll never get me to say, look, scalping 10 cents is okay for me, especially on some of these. If you feel a way that you can consistently trade these things back and forth, don't even worry about it. Like I said, that bigger move doesn't happen all the time. And more often than not, you get slapped.
I'd rather hit it for 10 cents 20 times than to, hold it and wait and have a bad day almost every day.
Yep.
Especially when we're talking about penny stocks.
Yeah, the casino.
The one thing for me, I don't want to be uncomfortable in my trades at all. I don't want to have a position size or anything, especially in penny stocks, that's going to make me uncomfortable. I want to have some consistent growth, no matter what it is that I can lock in without raising my blood pressure. That's the goal. If I'm sitting at the edge of my seat, I don't think that's the right job.
It's not, and that'll wear on you if you do that every day for hours on end too. be able to get up and walk away. It's one of the reasons I want to get more into the swing trading, but the market just hasn't given me that environment. Jay, doors open to you. Anytime that you want to call some of these larger stocks and trade setups and all that, let's do it. You can even come on.
Oh man, I was buying so many of those companies back in October when the market was just absolutely getting hammered.
I was going to say that proved to be the right time to buy them. CUEN going higher here, size at 295. If it snaps that, likely goes to 3, maybe even pops above it. CUEN. Sorry, I was looking at BRMA, which was curling here on low volume. See on CUEN, big volume stick here. Not quite the biggest of the day, but we're approaching it.
I think we might be getting my second run.
IVVD back to the VWAP here. Really struggling with VWAP at the moment. CUEN, big pull off that.
Yeah,
that move higher.
There's a lot of supply up in here with CUEN, especially when we get to about 330. Then it really starts to get heavy. What the border book says.
The Crow. Good morning, Crow. Nice to see you around.
And you guys, I still have some BMRA and just went positive on it.
There we go.
Oh, very nice.
That was that curl. It was low volume, but it was curling.
Yeah, it held the 65 EMA held on the 5-minute. Now it's coming back up and testing VWAP. And it looks like we're about to break through it.
I mean, I'll take it. Profit's profit, right?
Mm-hmm. Profit's profit. Maybe you get a run here, BMRA.
Yeah,
we haven't really had one yet this morning. It's been all a bunch of disappointment, but maybe we finally get it here. Size at 148, by the way, BMRA.
Oh, I got, there's a lot of size from there all the way up until about 175. There's a lot of orders out there that are in the tens of thousands.
See, the way I see it is they're probably running a short right into my number, but then they're gonna, kind of bounce between the two of us to try to make sure that, because I think that there's somebody out there trying to get us all, but that's my theory.
Yeah, and the VWAP's kind of right at this pre-market consolidation too, so this could be a good rejection spot.
The way I say it all the time is you can say you're trading against the market maker, Darth Vader, whatever you want to call it. But in the end, we're always just trading against ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. ARQT finding support at the 200 EMA. If it doesn't, this thing's probably done. I'm still looking at the 275 as the final bounce for that one.
No, but that is the way these supply and demand zones typically work, though. There may not be anybody out there trying to get us, but it seems to work out that way. Like they're pulling in the net from each side every day.
Mm-hmm.
ICC or IVVD might be breaking down through 4 here. Be careful on this one if you're in it. All right, folks, we're going to be wrapping up here for the day. We celebrated Mitch's birthday without Mitch. How about that? 13. Andy, again, cannot thank you, gentlemen, enough for jumping on here. I definitely want to get you guys back in here with Mitch. Not sure if we're going to be able to do that for the holidays here, but let's make that a point to try and do that early next year. This it's always great. I love getting different perspectives. I love how you guys are all bringing different stocks. By the way, BMRA trading up to that 148, big size there. BMRA. This might go higher here if it snaps that, but we'll see.
Well, thanks for having us on, Ryan. And Andy, it was great talking to you too.
Yeah, great to meet you. Great to see you over here. And I realized after I had, couldn't even read earlier that you're in the chat here every day, right?
Usually, yeah, I am.
13. Let's also shout out the Benzinga Pro Happy Hour chat. Why don't we do that while you're on here?
Yeah, if you're a programmer, basically just check out that happy hour channel. I'm posting there every day. There's usually some actionable stuff in there that you can maybe make some trades off of. Just a lot of opinions I have in there about different stocks, what I think is going on. Got some pretty interesting news that I'm going to be sharing with the happy hour community today. For a little breadcrumb for y'all, it's kind of regarding California's Prop 12 that they passed in 2018. If you go take a look at that if that interests you. It's going to have implications for agriculture industry. But other than that, yeah, I absolutely love the happy hour. I've made some really great trades, really good investments, and I've got a lot of great information from being in that community. If you haven't joined, I would absolutely implore you to check that out. It's a great community.
I fully second that. And you have done a great job helping me out, moderating that channel, making sure that the content in there is excellent. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here today. Cannot thank you enough. And of course, thank you, viewers. You folks are what make this every single day. Thanks for hanging out with us again. Send your birthday wishes to Mitch. He'll be back tomorrow. Let's make sure we tell him what a great day we had without him. Take care, folks. It is almost Christmas time. Have a great day and a great rest of your week, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.